Okay, if you could turn to session 3, what we're going to do in the time we have remaining is that we've looked at the LifeReady strategy, we looked at the resources and how to unleash those resources. Now what we're going to do is just compress marriage oneness into a short session where you can actually experience that resource, that particular resource. We could do it with any of the ones. The other night I was in Memphis, Tennessee, and we had about 40 people there from representing about 20 churches, and we did a college ready session. And so they're all kind of laid out the same way, starting with that orientation. But then when they actually come to a session, you want to get a feel for what they're like. So what we've put in your hands is what they would experience as far as the workbook. And I just want you to know, if you walked in as a couple and you got a couple of these workbooks and you hold them, the first thing you feel is, well, this got a little weight to it. So maybe there's something in here worth, going through. And as they go through it, what they should feel, at least from this, is this looks pretty quality. All right? But now, it won't mean anything if this is the only quality thing they have. So I want to talk to you about how to actually do one of those sessions. So you can put the workbook down just for a second. Let me just walk you through how a session would feel. Okay? And so some of you are going to just use your imagination. Some of it will actually taste. But if it were my marriage oneness group, okay, so Sharon and I have got this group, and let's say we have 20 couples coming. We might have a big home that we could do that in. We might get a room at the church that we're going to do that in, that we're going to use as our kind of meeting place. We've had our orientation. The couples who are coming are committed. And so when they walk in the room, okay, their first experience when the door opens and they walk in the room is, this is nice. This is nice. So you're going to have marriage oneness up on the screen. There's going to be fun music playing, always fun music. It doesn't have to be just Christian music, but it's fun music, upbeat music that they would enjoy. And they're walking in and it's playing. The marriage oneness is on the screen. The tables are set. The little table where they can go pick up their workbook is there with a couple there, giving that to them. And they're walking in and everybody's getting a name tag, except all the leaders, our name tags, instead of having my name on my name tag, I've got 1971. Somebody else has got 1978. Somebody else might have 1984. And what those are is that's the day we got married. It's got the date on there. And it's just a little creative feature, not making a big deal. I will say something about it later, but they just kind of noticed that. But they put their name on there, but we got, December 28th, 1971. All right, so they're coming in and there's some refreshments. Now the refreshments that they see, it's not church coffee, that tastes like motor oil. It's something that either somebody has got a real gift to create a really nice coffee, or you brought something in from Starbucks or whatever. It's really nice coffee, and some finger food and that kind of thing. Maybe you've got them set up with little tables like this in the front that they can sit in, but then there are breakout tables behind. But they're decorated nice. There's maybe some decorations, not a lot, not an overkill, but just something that says this. Here's what it should say: this is a quality event. It's an event. We're not coming to watch videos. This is an event. So they're walking in and you're greeting them, and the music's playing. You're having a good time talking together and just interacting, and then all of a sudden you may say just to the group, just say, hey, we're going to get started in a minute. Just give them a little heads up. And then all of a sudden a movie clip comes up. Now Tim in the first session mentions My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Okay? So maybe because he mentions that, you don't have to use that, but I'm just saying, but let's just say use it for illustration. There is a little 1-minute clip from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And it's a funny thing where I always use funny because you want to keep it upbeat. But it just comes up and there's just a little scene about, the marriage relationship, getting prepared for marriage that you laugh at. And then when it's over, I'm the host, and I step up and I say, we want to welcome you. Boy, this is a great evening. We're starting an 8-week adventure tonight that we're going to be on, and you know what that means. We've talked about what the commitment's made, but we're going to go on a journey together. But let me tell you what my hope is. My hope at the end of 8 weeks, you're going to feel more informed, more confident in your marriage than you've ever felt. If you're like other couples, you'll feel like you've communicated on things that have been lingering that you've wanted to communicate on, but you've done it in a way that has moved you in some extremely positive directions. And you have a vision for how to build your marriage after this is over. This is not a one-time event. This is giving you the skills to manage your own marriage. So we're really glad you're here tonight. And to start us off, I just want to welcome my team, and so I might just single them out and have them stand up. And I go, you notice we've got you probably have asked somebody already, but those dates are the dates they got married. So we have 130 years of marriage experience here to help you out. So we're really glad you're here. And so to get us started, kind of a la Weekend to Remember, but to get us started out, let's see who's been married the longest of our group here and who's been married the shortest. And so we just take a second and kind of have a little contest of who's been married the longest of the participants, who's been married the shortest. And when somebody wins, we invite them up. So now I've got two couples up here, and I go, it is so good to have you guys here. And when did you got married? You've been married just 3 months. You've been married 2 years. Boy, it's great to have you here. And what we'd like to give you is a gift certificate tonight. So I pull out a gift certificate. It's the coffee and dessert at some really nice place. And I give it to, this is our gift to you, because I want everybody to turn to page 8 in your manual. So you turn to page 8. Okay? Because one of the key features of marriage oneness is the oneness dates. We call it oneness work. Okay? And the reason we call it oneness work, because you're going to have to do some prep work to get there, but we want you to use these coffee and dessert gift certificates to have your first oneness date. It's going to take you about a couple hours, but you can go out in a nice setting and work through this basic information and talk it through to get you ready for this whole experience. But that's what we're about, because every week we're going to have a date. And by the way, couples have already told us that when they have reviewed the 8 weeks that we're together, they've told us that the oneness dates were the most beneficial of the whole experience. Now here's what you're hearing. Do you hear what I'm saying in that? I'm talking about an event, experience, work, and all that. I'm not talking about video. I'm just talking about what we're doing. So we clap for the couple who's been married the longest of the group and the couple who's been married short. We're just having some fun. We may, there'll be some natural jokes made and stuff about all that. The young couple have been married 3 months. Well, hey, it's good you're starting now, because there's going to be a lot to learn and that kind of thing. But we just had a little fun. The movie clip was fun. The fellowship time of about 15 minutes was fun. And now I've set it up by that little preparation to get us started. And then at the end I say, because we're just on the front end, I go, okay, open your manuals to session 1. We're going to talk about something that is going to be extremely beneficial to you, not just tonight, but for the rest of your life. We are going to define oneness. We're going to define it as a language that you can use in your marriage and measure your marriage by this definition through this whole journey, but also use it to measure your marriage the rest of your life. Because you've probably heard, especially if you've grown up in the church, that the two are going to become one flesh, and maybe you heard oneness. Has anybody ever defined oneness for you? We're going to define it tonight. And it's going to be really helpful. So let's start by watching Tim Lundy. Tim will introduce himself and his wife Lee, and then he's going to take us on this journey called oneness, the measure. We're going to measure it, the measure of a marriage. Okay, now we're into the video. Okay, now if we're on session 4, I'll just jump ahead because I want to use some illustrations. If we're on session 4 and we're on money, I might welcome everybody. We might have a little movie clip on money, show me the money. It might just be that part. And everybody laughs and sits down and says, tonight we're talking about money, and money is a critical thing. And in our church, a lot of you know Tom Hill. Tom worked for Merrill Lynch. He's a money manager, has been, went to Wharton's Business School. He's been with couples for 30-something years on money. And Tom has dropped by tonight. I want to ask Tom if he'd come up. Tom would come up and say, we're talking on money. Tom, you and I have talked about this in advance, but tell me, what are the 2 mistakes most couples make early in their marriage when it comes to money? That you've seen, that you've had to advise, and you just go, these are 2 mistakes to avoid. And so he shares those. And then I go, what are 2 things that if you only got 5 minutes with these couples and you said, hey, these 2 things, don't ever not do these 2 things. What would they be? And so here's a guy, these people know, he's from the church community. He's well respected. He's an elder in the church. He's just dropped by, taking a little time to be there. He's going to leave right after this. But he sits, and for the next 2 or 3 minutes, he just kind of shares with them out of his passion the 2 money decisions you better make. Well, by the time he leaves, by the time we've had a little fun, couples are engaged. And we say, so let's watch the session on money, because that oneness work on that particular session is a lot of work. So we go into the money session. And maybe afterwards, after the video, he might step on that particular session and say, hey, I want everybody to look under your chair. And everybody looks under their chair, and there's nothing under except for one couple. There's a little card. Bring that card up, and they come up and say, before we get in our small groups, John and Linda, tell me what's been the most exciting thing you've learned these last 4 weeks? And they share something, say, well, this little card, this is a gift card where you can purchase Dave Ramsey's book on money. Again, but we're giving a few little things away, the whole series. And you know why we're doing that? Because we show them this is a quality event. And we're here to serve and to give and to love on you. And at the end of the session, we may say, hey, go to our private Facebook page, and I want all of you to kind of tell me, do you have a budget? And then just tell me what you do, and then I'll report that back to the group next week. And if you got any questions, do that. And if any of you get stuck on the oneness work with money, you call me. And let's talk about what we can do about that. Don't labor through that if it causes a lot of conflict. We'll talk about what's a good next step for you. See how you're just ministering to people?